أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا سيدنا ومولانا أبا القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد عليه وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين، روح وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفدا، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين منذ آدم إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. قال تعالى في محكم التنزيل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: الطلاق مرتان، فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان، ولا يحل لكم أن تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله، فإن خفتم ألا يقيما حدود الله فلا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به، تلك حدود الله فلا تعتدوها، ومن يتعدى حدود الله فأولئك هم الظالمون. Allah Azza wa Jal, regarding divorce, says, divorce may be pronounced twice, then keep them in good fellowship or let them go with kindness, and it is not lawful for you to take any part of what you have given them, unless both fear they cannot keep within the limits of Allah. Then if you fear that they cannot keep within the limits of Allah, there is no blame on them for what she gives up to become free thereby. These are the limits of Allah, so do not exceed them, and whoever exceeds the limits of Allah, these it is that are unjust. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In human relationships, because a relationship is the coming together of two personalities, or more than two personalities, more often than not, unfortunately, there arises conflict. And the most sacred of human relationships, which is marriage, a union which is loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a union which is sacred, a union which our Imams salamullahi alayhim have encouraged, a union which Allah Azza wa Jal praises. Even in this union of love and mercy, unfortunately sometimes there is conflict. And this conflict is natural. When we are bringing more than one personality together, we are bringing more than one attitude, we are bringing more than one upbringing, we are bringing more than one set of values. Sometimes these are conflicting. In the good chance, these opinions or these personalities get along with one another. However, more often than not, individuals conflict with one another and don't see eye to eye on everything. And this is okay. We are not supposed to see eye to eye on everything. We have different inclinations, we have different wants, different needs, different sets of values, and it's okay to disagree sometimes. Sometimes in marriage, it gets to the point where this marriage is no longer successful. If you guys remember last week, we spoke about the Islamic components of a marriage, mawadda, rahma, etc. When this mawadda and this rahma is no longer there, when this mercy and this love is no longer there, then this marriage is now a toxic relationship. And it is for this reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed us as Muslims to divorce and leave this entity of marriage. Although it is a makruh act, and I'll bring some narrations. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. There's the hadith of Abi Khadija and Wasail al-Shi'a, where he says, he narrates from Abi Hisham, who said that Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam said, "Very Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the house which consists of marriage and hates the house that consists of divorce, and there is nothing more despised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than divorce." Then there's the famous narration of Al-Hasan ibn al-Fadl al-Tabrasi, who narrates from the Imam alayhi salam saying, marry and do not divorce, verily divorce shakes the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We understand from these narrations and several like it that divorce is disliked by Allah Azza wa Jal. Disliked to the point that the Imam salamullahi alayhi, he describes the effects on the cosmos. He said that this divorce, although it is halal, it shakes the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب يا مولاي, يا إمام, يا أمير المؤمنين, يا Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, if this marriage is now toxic and we cannot bear it anymore, we can't stand to be in one another's face, is it still makruh? Our fuqaha here say no. They say this makruh, this karaha, is regarding a marriage which can be fixed. The problems are very small. If people wanted to enjoin good and forbid evil and come together, do their duties, then this marriage can be saved and salvaged. Then yes, it's makruh here. Talaq here is makruh. This is the talaq which shakes the foundation of the throne of Allah Azza wa Jal. If there is room for reconciliation and neither side seek that reconciliation, or one side wants the reconciliation and the other side is adamant that no, I don't want that reconciliation. This is the talaq that Allah Azza wa Jal dislikes. When we talk about talaq for a reason, khalas, the relationship has become so toxic that they are destroying one another. These two individuals have destroyed each other on a mental level, on a spiritual level, on a social level, and we'll discuss the damages that we do to one another. Here Allah Azza wa Jal has prescribed for us talaq as a mercy. Divorce here becomes a rahmah. And in the process of divorce, Allah Azza wa Jal, as we stated in the verse, demands from us that even whilst going through the divorce, we maintain this rahmah. We maintain ihsan. We'll get to the translation of the verse inshallah and its interpretation, and we'll discuss this. Those of you who are married or have been married, no, marriage is not easy sometimes. Most of the time it's not easy. Yeah, it's the coming together of two individuals trying to live life as one. And I'm not here to discuss the solutions to a marriage or how we can prevent divorce. We'll leave this inshallah for another talk. We're now saying the marriage fell apart and the divorce has happened. Okay? The divorce has happened. How are we as Muslims, as Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, as those who belong to the madhab of Ja'far as-Sadiq salamullah alayhi, how are we supposed to behave? Has our madhab spoken of this or not? If we are believers in an all-encompassing perfect religion, which is not an aesthetic religion, which is a religion which addresses the social, spiritual, mental issues of a human being, then most definitely divorce being a vast part, unfortunately, of human life, then most definitely the wisdom of Allah Azza wa Jal needs to address this issue of talaq. There are religions out there, for example, like the Catholic Church, who have banned talaq. There is no divorce in Catholicism. And there are many other religions which have applied the same ruling. Is this really what human society needs or not? See, because we believe in an all-wise God and an all-encompassing religion, and a religion which touches on every major factor and every major functioning role of society and of human life, then the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal needs to apply, and the wisdom of Allah Azza wa Jal needs to apply when it comes to divorce. We cannot say Allah Azza wa Jal has advised us and given us no akhlaq, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam given us no akhlaq, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi given us no akhlaq regarding divorce. Hukum is one thing, the ruling is one thing. Yeah? The ruling is that divorce is makruh, permissible but makruh. We all agree on the ruling. But there are behaviors There are ethics, there's an etiquette that we need to maintain whilst in this delicate situation of, we can say, conflict. Because divorce does not happen without conflict, right? There's a conflict here, and Islam gave you a solution, said, okay, there's a conflict in the marriage, it's irreparable, divorce. How? Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in this Quran. The verse that we discussed, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being very clear. He says, listen, you have two options. If the two of you reach a state where you cannot agree and you cannot maintain this relationship, then maintain some sort of a civil relationship, stay married, but with certain regulations. Or, addressing the man, let her go with kindness. Ihsan is the law of the land when it comes to divorce. Kindness is essential. See, usually between a mahram and a non-mahram, Allah Azza wa Jal, He doesn't draw a relation, doesn't ask you to maintain a relationship, But in the case of divorce, this woman who was your mahram is now your non-mahram. Here Allah is telling you, no, here, there's an exception. There is a level of kindness that you need to maintain between one another. Because the two of you were enjoined once upon a time in the sacred entity of marriage. The two of you shared one soul, you shared one home, you shared one bed, you shared children. For the greater good of society in general, Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling you, I need you to maintain this kindness. So this divorce here is supposed to be a controlled demolition. Anyone ever seen a controlled demolition? Controlled demolition, a massive skyscraper, is brought down without destroying anything around it, without affecting anything around it. When Allah Azza wa Jal permitted for us this talaq, He intended for it to be a controlled demolition, not all out destruction. The marriage is destroyed and everything around it is destroyed also. Families are destroyed, children are destroyed, neighbors, society, reputation, finances, businesses. I've seen marriages that are like atomic bombs, bring down everything around them. Even bring down other marriages. Even bring down other marriages. Collateral damage. This isn't the talaq Allah Azza wa Jalla is speaking about. Allah is speaking about a controlled demolition. That this unity called marriage, this particular marriage is no longer working. Okay, we bring it down without destroying anything else around it. Allah Azza wa Jal, when addressing us is in this verse, is specifically, although he's addressing both parties, later on in the verse becomes specific in addressing the men. And in other verses of the Holy Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal is specific regarding not holding on to this woman by force. Because we know in the Sharia of Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, divorce is in the hands of a male. Again, brothers and sisters, I'll give you the address. Al-Baqi', go and discuss it with Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. This is not my law, this is Allah's law. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this law. Divorce is in the hand of the male. It is the husband who divorces. There are particular cases, special cases where a woman can ask for a divorce, but it is the male who divorces. So the responsibility of maintaining this controlled demolition falls on the male. One of the great sins that men commit, because of our egos, because of our pride, and sometimes because some of us are just downright rotten, is that we prevent this woman who is being oppressed in my house, we prevent her from this divorce. I refuse to give her this divorce. And look what Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying in this verse that we mentioned in the beginning. Yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very, very clear. When He says to you that to go with kindness, so either keep them in good fellowship. If there's no good fellowship, you can't be good to her, then let them go with kindness. These are the only two options you have as a Muslim. There is no option of بدي ربيها. I'm going to make her beg for a divorce. I'm going to make her ask to take all the mahr back. I'm going to make her life miserable, and then I'm going to divorce her. Once I have stripped her of her humanity and her modesty, and I've stripped her of her kindness, and I've stripped her of even her religion, I'll teach her a lesson, then I'll give her a divorce. Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling you, these are my rules. Yeah? These are hududullah. So a person who is like this, who leaves his wife, mu'allaqa, hanging, she's neither married nor divorced. This is a person who has transgressed, Allah is saying, this is a person who has transgressed against the boundaries of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah is telling you it is not social boundaries you have transgressed. It's not culture that you have transgressed. You have transgressed my boundaries. So usually, when it comes to divorce, the first point of conflict after the initial conflicts which led to divorce is, do I give her a divorce or not? Allah Azza wa Jalla is clear in this verse, give her what is hers. Give her her right. Brothers, it's very scummy. Honestly, if you have any self-dignity, any self-respect, it is very scummy and very dirty for you as a man, calling yourself a man, stripping away money, mahr, possessions, gifts that you have given her. You say, okay, gifts, I have the right. Maybe you have the right. Maybe, Shar'an, you can take a gift back. But you know our riwayat, what they say about someone who gives a gift and then takes it back, and how our ulama describe this person. It's like someone, and excuse me for this tabir, like someone who vomited and then ate the vomit back up. Ate the vomit back up. But I bought her this and I bought her this, and now for 8-10 years of marriage, but you hasiba on everything. He wants to record every cent he's spent on her. Have some self-dignity, some self-respect. Understand that if a woman does not want you anymore, khalas, she's reached the point where she cannot stand your face in the house. And you can see her suffering at home. And you can see that it is psychologically draining her. And you can see, wal-'iyadu billah, that this woman, because I am not divorcing her, might go to haram. Brother, fear Allah. Have ghira on this woman who is now your wife. Have enough ghira on her to let her go in dignity. Have ghira on yourself, that your reputation now in the community and with Allah Azza wa Jal is not one of stinginess, scumminess, oppression. Ihsan is what Allah Azza wa Jal demands. Okay, sister, you and I have not worked out. What is the matter? What is the problem? What stops us from leaving one another? We existed before each other, and we lived happily before each other. What prevents us from returning to normal lives before each other? With this ihsan. And this is the beginning of the dilemmas. The second most common dilemma is the divulgence of secrets. Both sides are now unhappy. He did this, she did that. What do we do now? Everybody in the community needs to know what happened in this marriage. You know what he used to do? He used to come to bed smelling like garlic. You know what she used to do? She used to not cook. Her mulukhiyya tastes like water. You know how she used to dress? You know what she used to say? The secrets of the house. Brother, sister, just because you are not husband and wife anymore, it does not mean you are not brother and sister anymore. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. The believers are siblings. Whether you're married or not, before you married her, she was your sister in Islam. Before you married him, he was your brother in Islam. After you divorced, did you become kuffar? There's no longer this brotherhood between you? When you start to treat each other with enmity, it is either A, you do not care that Allah Azza wa Jal demanded that believers become siblings, or B, you consider the other party a kafir wal-'iyadu billah. Did you leave Islam? Did she leave Islam that now you oppress her? And even to oppress a non-believer is not Islam. To oppress a dog in Islam is impermissible. A dog. So imagine a daughter of Adam alayhi salam. Sister, a son of Adam alayhi salam. There is sanctity. What happened in the sanctity of marriage remains sacred after that marriage. Do we need to pull out the riwayat and the ahadith about the sanctity of a Muslim and keeping the secrets of a Muslim? You know them all. Divulging what happened in your home. And then it gets worse. The rumors. Brothers and sisters, when we do this, and sorry, I'm going to get into specifics. Yeah, brother, even la samahallah, if she is accused of fornication, if you accuse her of adultery, you are not allowed to spread it in the community. You are not allowed when someone comes and says to you, why did you? Wallah, she did 1, 2, 3. It's haram. In an Islamic nation, the judge will bring you and say, hey brother, come here. Where's your 4 just witnesses? Where are they? Brother, you know what happens to you if you have no 4 just witnesses? You say to him, Allah Mawlana, I think I saw a message. Yeah, I saw a picture. Hala wasalli khabar. Someone said something to me. So you've gone now and you've spoken about this woman who is your wife. You've spread this word, whether it's true or not. You know what the judge in the Islamic court says to you? He says, had you brought the 4 witnesses, she has her hukum. But you have no 4 witnesses. This is now an accusation. And to accuse a woman of her honor in Islam, come here, we lash you. And you are worthy of that, even if it is true, brother. Even if it is true. Even if you know 150% this happened, this is the mother of your children. Your children are going to grow up in this community. They are going to go to school. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. They're going to go to school in this community. They're going to marry into this community in the future. Do you need that stigma around your children? So-and-so is the son of Fulaniya. Do you remember what she did? When your son goes to ask for a girl's hand in the future, aren't you the son of that woman? Aren't you the daughter of that? Why? Because of your tongue. You have now removed this sitra, this curtain that you are supposed to have. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, he says, if I saw 2 people committing zina, fornication, I will cover them in my abaya, so people do not see them. But we are quick to divulge the secrets of one another. Not understanding the repercussions, the effects, because we're selfish. We don't look at it through the eyes of our children in the future. Do you know the psychological effects of your daughter growing up? Having these rumors about her mother in the society and community? Do you know what it does to her? Do you know what it does to her effort? Do you know what it does to her honor? Do you know what it does to her perceptions on relationships? Do you know what it does to her perception of marriage, of men, of women? You destroy them as human beings, as functioning human beings. You destroy them. And the destruction continues. Sallallahu alaihi Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Forgive me if I get a bit emotional, yeah? But because you hear so much, and you see so much, and people are going about their lives normally, smiling, they're doing all this stuff and they smile. And then the divorce becomes a community event. And then both sides are rushing. It's like they're campaigning, yeah? They're running for elections. I'm trying to get more members of the community on my side. Friends start to joke, are you team Fulan or team Fulana? Who are you with now? Everyone knows they're rubbish. The dirty laundry is out there. Becomes the center of gossip. The center of entertainment, unfortunately. All of a sudden now the whole community is involved in this divorce. Couples start to fight. Did you hear what happened? Oh no, but he did this. Yeah, the wife usually takes the girl, so he did this, yeah, but you don't know it. And then they argue with one another, huh? They argue by proxy for the other couple. And now their marriage is affected. And then because you're a silly man, and you've gone and you've thrown your suspicions on other men, now this man is sitting there. I check my wife's phone. My wife hangs out with the same people. Is she doing the same thing? And it gets much worse when these suspicions are with the sisters. Brother, she will pull you up. I just came home from Fulana's house. Do you know what her husband did? Are you doing the same thing? She'll ask you straight up. You doing the same thing? Show me your phone. Show me your Facebook. Who are your friends? Where were you last week? You can't see this guy anymore. The rubbish of your divorce is now affecting people's marriages. And then the limits of Allah Azza wa Jal are broken. Brothers and sisters, Quran is not for barakah only. We don't recite the Holy Quran for barakah. Allah Azza wa Jal did not send 124,000 prophets and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam sallu ala Muhammad wa alihi. And didn't tell Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi to deliver the message to the Arabs, risk his life, go for hijrah, go to Medina, establish a nation, come back, conquer Mecca, Badr, Uhud, Shuhada. Then 12 Imams, all of them, may Allah Azza wa Jal preserve Imam al-Qaim, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif, all of them martyred. Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam in Karbala, to lose Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam, to lose al-Qasim, to lose al-Abbas salamullahi alayhi, Sayeda Zaynab alayhi salam, to be taken captive. All of this didn't come, Allah Azza wa Jal did not orchestrate it for barakah. So you open the Quran, barakah in the beginning of a lecture. Allah Azza wa Jal released this Quran, revealed it to His Messenger. The efforts of the Ma'sumin salamullahi alayhim is so that this Quran can be preserved and implemented in your lives. Implemented as a rule. So that the hudud of Allah Azza wa Jal, the boundaries of Allah Azza wa Jal are preserved. So that we do not become, like has recited earlier, مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. Allah Azza wa Jal speaking about Banu Israel. They carried the Torah, but they did not implement it. How did Allah describe them? Like donkeys carrying books. We do not want to become hamir, ajallakumullah. Donkeys carrying books. This Quran, up, hang on the wall. When I want to get married, ma'addam Quran, because it's so muqaddas to you, when it is in fact the cheapest thing to you. The cheapest thing to you is the Quran. It's decorative. We come now to the hudud of Allah Azza wa Jal. Brothers and sisters, the laws of Allah are clear. The ulama are here. We can ask them. But as soon as this divorce happens, what happens? Lawyer up. Lawyer up. Lawyer here, lawyer there, and then where do we go? Do we come to the Shaykh? Maulana, what is Allah's ruling? What does the Quran say here? Do we come here? Do we go to the riwayat of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam? Do I refer to my marja' taqleed to say what I need to do? No. Automatically, what do? We go to the courts. In a non-Islamic country. And I'm not going to get into the jurisprudence regarding the courts of non-believers. We refer to the Holy Quran, which is enough, inshallah. Yeah? Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alayhi.
طبعا أحسن يعني لا هلا ولا بعدين.
لا هلا ولا بعدين إن شاء الله. سورة النساء. Allah Azza wa Jal, Surah An-Nisa, verse 60 and 61. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ يَزْعَمُونَ أَنَّهُمْ آمَنُوا بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ يُرِيدُونَ أَنْ يَتَحَاكَمُوا إِلَى الطَّاغُوتِ وَقَدْ أُمِرُوا أَنْ يَكْفُرُوا بِهِ وَيُرِيدُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَنْ يُضِلَّهُمْ ضَلَالًا بَعِيدًا وإذا قيل لهم تعالوا إلى ما أنزل الله وإلى الرسول رأيت المنافقين يصدون عنك صدودا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Allah Azza wa Jal says, have you not seen those who assert that they believe in what has been revealed to you and what was revealed for you? They desire to summon one another to the judgment of the shaitan. Or taghut in reality is a system of shaitan, not just shaitan. Though they were commanded to deny him, and the shaitan desires to lead them astray into a remote error. Now pay attention to this part. And when it is said to them, come to what Allah has revealed, and to the apostle, you will see the hypocrites turning away from you with utter aversion. So Allah Azza wa Jal has come. He said to you, my creation, as a mercy, I sent to you this messenger with this holy book. This marriage has not worked out, this is fine. I've allowed you to divorce. I've given you rulings. You claim to believe in me. You claim to worship me. You say, La ilaha illallah. Do not be one of these munafiqeen who abandons the laws of Allah Azza wa Jal and prefers his own interpretation of things or the interpretation of others. This is a test of your tawheed here, brothers and sisters. It's no longer about your divorce anymore. This is about your tawheed. It is about your Islam. To the point, and there are so many verses we can bring. And for obvious reasons, I'll leave them out tonight, inshallah, but in another night we'll discuss them. The laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are not for your entertainment. It's not so we can go to the hawza and sit. Shaykh Allah yahfadhu didn't go to the hawza and learn these ahkam. It's not to just entertain. It's not fun. Wallah, it's not fun. Yeah? The marja, it didn't spend 50 years ijtihad there because wallah, he's bored. Yeah? These are to be applied. So Allah is telling you, you believe in me, I am your God. You have problem A, I have a solution for A. You say to Allah Azza wa Jal, thank you very much. Rasulullah, thank you. Amir al-Mu'mineen, thank you. Imam al-Husayn, Karbala and everything, thank you. I'll cry Yawm al-Ashir, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to take this ruling, the ruling of the non-believer, the ruling which is not sacred, the ruling which does not have the best interest of humanity. I'm going to take this. And unfortunately, more often than not, brothers and sisters, and inshallah we'll end with this because it's a gross discussion. It is regarding the custody of the children. Our children now, who were in a marriage and involved in a family of conflict. So we subjected them and we exposed them to conflict during the marriage. These children are now traumatized. Brothers and sisters, don't take it from me. Go ask the professionals. Ask psychologists and psychiatrists. Ask those who work in child welfare. Ask them how common PTSD is amongst children who live in a toxic household. PTSD that carries on, post-traumatic stress that carries on into their adulthood.
Let it be a lecture for next week.
Inshallah, definitely. Absolutely, inshallah. So what we need to do here is maintain the best interests of the children, inshallah. And inshallah, this issue of custody in itself will have a segment. Brothers and sisters, in conclusion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just as He endorsed marriage and encouraged marriage, He encouraged that when this marriage falls apart, we maintain this kindness. And Allah puts that challenge to you. If you are a believer, He's saying to you, you're a believer in this book, you're a believer in this Quran, then maintain the dignity of one another. There is nothing stopping you from removing yourself from this marriage in a dignified manner, in a respectful manner, maintaining the sanctity, inshallah, of one another. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.